All right, let's talk retirement. Some pretty big news just dropped from the IRS. They've officially released the new contribution limits for 2026. And you're gonna wanna hear this. We're gonna break down what these new, higher limits mean for you and your savings.
So we are going to get right into what's changed for all your key accounts, your 401k, your IRA, and what it all means for your wallet. Let's kick things off with the two biggest headline numbers. First up, your workplace plan. Think 401k or 403b. The absolute max you can put in from your paycheck is now climbing to a solid $24,500. And for those of you with a traditional or Roth IRA, your limit is now up to $7,500. Now, those are the big numbers, for sure, but the real power is in the details. So let's dig in. Okay, let's start with the big one for most people, employer-sponsored plans. For a lot of us, this is the cornerstone of our retirement savings. We're talking 401ks, 403bs, and for government employees, the Thrift Savings Plan, or TSP. So the base amount you, the employee, can contribute is getting a nice bump. It's rising by a full $1,000, going from $23,500 up to $24,500 for 2026. I mean, that's an extra grand you can shield from taxes this year. Not bad at all. That's a fantastic baseline, but what if you're getting a little closer to that retirement finish line? Well, the IRS gives savers an extra advantage to really supercharge their savings, and that's where catch-up contributions come into play. And for 2026, that advantage is getting even bigger. The catch-up contribution for anyone 50 and over is increasing by $500. That brings the new limit to an even $8,000. So you might be asking, what does that look like when you put it all together? You take that new base limit of $24,500, add the $8,000 catch-up, and that gives you your total potential savings power for the year. And that brings the grand total to $32,500. That is a significant amount of money to shelter in your retirement plan in a single year. But hold on, because for a specific group of savers, that number gets even higher. Yeah, check this out. Thanks to the Secure 2.0 Act, there's a special provision for folks who are in that 60 to 63 age bracket. Instead of the standard catch-up, you can contribute an additional $11,250. That's an absolutely massive opportunity to accelerate your savings right when it counts. All right, let's switch gears and turn to individual retirement arrangements, or IRAs. Whether you're a fan of the traditional or the Roth, there are some really important updates for 2026 for these accounts too. The annual IRA contribution limit is jumping up to $7,500. That's an extra $500. And with the power of compounding over time, even a small increase like that can lead to some really significant growth down the road. And just like with the workplace plans, IRAs offer that catch-up for savers 50 and over. For 2026, that amount is getting a little cost of living bump, up to $1,100. Hey, never underestimate the power of these consistent extra contributions. They add up. So for IRA savers who are 50 and older, that brings your total potential contribution to $8,600 for 2026. Now with IRAs, it gets a little more complicated. It's not just about how much you can contribute, it's also about whether you're even eligible to contribute or take a deduction. This is where your income level comes into play through something the IRS calls a phase-out. So let's quickly break that down. An income phase-out is basically just a range of income set by the IRS. If your income falls inside this range, your ability to get the full benefit of an IRA is limited. And if you're above the range, you might lose that benefit entirely for the year. And you guessed it, these ranges have also been adjusted for 2026. For traditional IRAs, whether you can deduct your contributions depends on your income, especially if you already have a retirement plan at work. So for 2026, just as an example, if you're a single filer, you'll see that deductions start to phase out as your income rises between $81,000 and $91,000. Now, Roth IRAs play by different rules. It's not about the deduction, it's about whether you can contribute at all. For 2026, a married couple filing their taxes jointly will find their ability to contribute starts to phase out between $242,000 and $252,000 of income. And one last important update on the income front. The income limits for the Savers Credit have also increased. This is a really valuable tax credit designed to help low and moderate income workers save. And with these higher limits, it means more people might qualify in 2026. So I know we've just thrown a lot of numbers at you. The big question now is, what should you actually do with all this new info? How do you turn these IRS updates into a real plan of action? Look, these aren't just numbers on a screen. They are a direct opportunity. This is your chance to invest more in your future, letting thousands more dollars grow in tax-advantaged accounts to build that long-term security we all want. Here's a super simple 3-step checkup to put this into motion. First, just take a look at your current savings rate. How much are you putting away now? Second, log into your retirement account or maybe contact HR and adjust your contributions for 2026. And finally, just take a quick moment to confirm your income eligibility for the accounts you're using.
At the end of the day, these new IRS limits are an invitation. They're an invitation to take a fresh look at your plan, maybe push a little harder, and invest more in your own future. So the only question left is, how much closer will you get to the retirement you envision?